Good afternoon, friends. How are you all doing? Lovely to see you here. This is episode 29 of Raving with Rua here on my YouTube channel, Songs from the Rua Room, dedicated to singer-songwriters from Belgium and beyond. And it's lovely to have you back here with us. If anybody is watching out there on YouTube, please consider hitting that subscribe button there. For me, it helps me to build the channel and get the songs and get the message out there. That would be great if you could do that. And of course, give us the old thumbs up there as well. That'd be great. As always, my PayPal virtual tip jar link is down there below in the information section. And if you'd like to contribute to that, all donations greatly received. Of course, you can go to theruaroom.com and have a look at the shop as well. Lots of goodies in there for you to peruse if you feel inclined. So it's if you're watching on your Facebook, please give the page a follow as well, and maybe share the broadcast with your friends. Let them know you're watching. What else do we need to tell you? Oh, of course, today's stream, of course, brought to you courtesy of the wonderful people at G-Sharp Guitars, the world's finest travel electric guitars, and great little machines. Check them out if you can. My guest today is from Australia. He lives in Germany now, and he's a wonderful, prolific songwriter, and a great songwriter and a great guy to boot, and I'm very happy that he's here and can join us. They call him the wonder from down under. Please welcome to the show the brilliant Paul Fogarty.
Hi.
Good day, sir.
How you doing?
Grand. Thanks for joining us. How are you keeping?
Thanks for having me. Yeah, pretty good.
Yeah.
My nasal cavities are clearing up.
Yeah, you had a bit of trouble with them there recently.
Yeah, last week I got hit like a ton of bricks. I don't know. There must be a lot of plants here in Germany that they just don't have in Australia, and they just, there's one certain day in the year, usually in April, and it's at about 8 o'clock in the morning, and all the plants just go, fuck it. It just goes straight up my nose.
Straight up your nose. Oh, so you've been suffering with that for a few years then, have you? Hay fever stuff. Yeah. Here
in Germany, it's like, at least 10 times worse than it was back home in Australia. It's just unbelievable.
Which part of Australia do you come from?
Let's start from
the beginning. Go back to the start.
Well, if this is Australia here, I'm from this part here.
Oh, nice.
No, I'm
Fingerville.
from Queensland. We had a farm near a town called Clifton, which is about 2 hours drive west of Brisbane, if you know where that is.
Not a clue. Yeah, I do.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah. But it's okay. So that's but you so farming background, is that right? Or was it
farming background? Yeah. Very, very rural. Nothing ever happened unless it was mentioned in the Bible. About plagues and floods and droughts and pestilence, all that stuff. Yeah.
So I take it then that's what kind of spurred on the writing and the music for you. Or was it? Well, it was writing first because you have a journalistic background. Is that correct? Yeah.
That's correct. What really happened is I started drawing pictures when I was about 5 or 6, and that was my thing for about a decade. I'd just spend the whole day drawing pictures, and then yarding the cows in the morning in the dark,
yeah.
And then milking the cows with my mum and dad, and then doing the yard work and stuff in the afternoon after school. But all the other time I spent was just drawing pictures and stuff like that. And then when I was about 15, I started running every day, and then I found as I was running that it was easier to sort of keep going if I could do something in my head, and I just started making up songs. And and then around that same time, I went for a holiday with my folks and my brothers and sisters, and we were staying near the beach, and we were having a barbecue, and my mom said, okay, it's 10 minutes till the barbecue is ready. So I took a walk down along the riverbank And by the time I came back, I had this song that I had written in my head, and that was my first song. So,
How old were you then, Paul?
15.
About 15 or so. Oh wow! And that's so. Was it? As I say, the Australians would say hard yakka.
Yeah,
Kind
yeah.
of, was it? So did music take over, or was it? You went to university and you studied a bit first before you sort of delved into the. When did you say? When did you decide? Okay, I think I can really do this for a living. I can write songs, and I'm a good
Oh,
musician.
that didn't happen for a long time.
Oh, right.
I just thought, when I started writing songs every day, that's what you do when you turn 15.
Ah.
I thought everyone was doing it. Of course, I didn't mention it to anyone. Otherwise, they'd think I was gay or on heroin or something.
Yeah.
So I just kept it to myself. I had a little guitar that was sort of unplayable. And then when I was 18, I got a guitar that was playable. And then suddenly I could just play guitar.
Yeah,
It was weird.
And did you have brothers and sisters as well who were kind of that way inclined, or was there any other kind of musical influences like growing up, or to inspire you? We didn't have internet back then, and it wasn't so easy to access stuff.
We didn't have internet. We had our grandfather, my father's father, used to play the squeeze box, this little, and he had a big, piano accordion as well. And whenever I would visit Grandma and Granddad, I would draw pictures all day, and then Granddad would sit me on one knee, and then he'd play the squeeze box or the piano accordion on the other knee and sort of entertain me. And that went on for years, ever since I can remember, since I was like 2 or whatever. And my other grandfather he played the chromatic harmonica. And so I think that was basically the only thing, except for people telling, Banjo Patterson, reciting Banjo Patterson poems and Henry Lawson poems at sort of parties and stuff. And but there was no real big, musical ensemble in our family. Also, my auntie Ray had one of the first portable keyboards. And so every time she went to a family function, she'd get this massive keyboard out of the car. And I think it was like a foot pump thing. And so that was kind of my exposure to music, was just, in a kind of a, I don't know, there wasn't anything else really to do.
Yeah, indeed. A lot of the Irish would have had the same. We grew up in very rural environments. Yeah, we're drawn towards it for out of boredom to begin with, of course. I noticed you got rid of that beautiful.
Something happened there.
You kind of had a halo there coming in, like it was very
You might think that's the sun, but that's coming out of my ear.
I thought so. I want to start off with let's go straight into a song. We'll come back and chat in a moment. But you did of course we're in the middle of a lockdown here at the moment, as the world knows. But you did a lovely live stream recently from where was this recorded, Paul? This is a gorgeous little live stream.
The place is called D Luki. If you pronounce it in English, it's Die Luke. It is D Luke, or the Luke, which I think is named after one of the first 4 books of the Bible. Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. I'm always telling religious jokes there, and I don't think they go down terribly well. But lovely little place. And Andreas, the guy who runs it, they started doing live streams they were planning to do them a couple of weeks before the virus hit. So they were already, I think they were doing live streams from people's actual live concerts. So they were already set up
to do it already. Yeah, you can see that they have great audio, great cameras here. Yeah. And a little bit about the song, or do you announce it here? It's called Home, isn't it?
I think I announced it.
I think you think you're talking about a little bit about it. But let's give it a play, folks. This is one of the many fine songs from Paul Fogarty, live from De Luca, apparently it's called, in Germany.
Yeah.
And a great song called Home. Check this.
I used to work at the post office when I was at university. And I used to walk from my place into town to go to work in the evenings. And I used to write songs as I was walking. And this is one of those songs. It's called Home. You will never understand it, and you may as well not try. The road is long, we must go on, but I could not tell you why. You're never gonna tie me to some ideology where the followers are forsaken, the believers can never be free. Though my mind is in confusion, my heart is aching still. I can find my own way home, and you know I will. I could not tell you why she left me on that fateful day. Nobody knows, I don't suppose they would tell me anyway. They say she's gone, you must move on, pick up where you left off. But the secrets of a heartache are as deep as they are soft. Though my mind is in confusion, oh, and my heart is aching still, I can find my own way home, and you know I will. I'm gonna find my own way home to you. I'm gonna find my own way home. I will find my own way home to you. If it's the last thing I ever do, I will find my own way home to you. La 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 la, la la la, la la la, la 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 la, la la la, la. You never know what heaven holds just by looking to the sky. You will never know the truth till you can thread it through a needle's eye. Many is the time I spoke too soon, many times I did regret. But it's a better world for the speaking out than to let the world forget. Though my mind is in confusion, oh, and my heart is aching still, I can find my own way home, and you know I will. I can find my own way home, and you know I will. I'm gonna find it. I can find my own way home, and you know I will.
Great. They're a bit weird, those live streams. You had a couple of people in the room there, but yeah, playing performances to a virtual audience is always a little weird, no?
Yeah, everyone in the room, and there was 3 other guys. They were all guys, so I just find that hard to do, man. Sing,
Yeah, so do I.
to
It's a bit weird.
sing to guys, yeah.
Or sing to guys. We always prefer the ladies in the audience. Yeah, I know.
That's right.
But yeah, no, beautiful song. I mean, when we met for the first time, I think it was in the radio show in Amsterdam, and somebody said to me afterwards that you'd written like over 1,000 songs, or 1,500 songs. And I went, no, he hasn't. No, he hasn't. Go away. And then I researched it and I realized he has. So he has, or more. Yeah. I'd say. What do you know what your song count is at the moment?
I sort of stopped counting. I don't know, about 7-8 years ago, because it just was out of control. So I stopped counting. But it would be, somewhere between 1,500 and probably 2,000 songs, I would say.
That's incredible. No, you haven't recorded all of them. What's your official album count at this stage? Now you've put out.
I had four albums that I put out, and then in December I put out 4 extra digital only ones,
All
or
right,
maybe 5 on Bandcamp.
On Bandcamp, I have your Bandcamp details here, paulfogarty.bandcamp.com. So that's where everybody can buy, I suppose, all of your digital collection.
All the digital stuff,
All the
yeah.
digital stuff, yeah. I suppose, yeah, like myself, you're not too enthusiastic about the streaming thing, I suppose. Well, it's the only way we can make any kind of money, of course, if people actually buy the songs rather than stream them. Huh?
Yeah, I always thought of Spotify as a kind of, like radio, except you get paid even less. At least on radio you get paid royalties, But on Spotify, I just balked at that from the very beginning. I thought that's a load of shit. So I haven't done anything with it.
Yeah, to a certain extent, no harm to be on it and out there. And I'll be doing something here related to a Spotify playlist in the coming week or so. I suppose it's, the lesser of two evils. If you're not in, you can't win, I suppose. But I know what you're saying. It's a little weird.
I never thought about it. I mean, I never looked into it except for, just sort of immediately reacting as soon as I heard about it that was a load of shit. And then, the people who sort of host my hard copy albums, they sort of automatically put you in these things. So you can find my stuff on Spotify. I just never deliberately put it there myself.
Yeah. On kind of random playlists. Like I understand what you mean.
Well, they do some kind of digital distribution, and I just don't have time to follow that,
Yeah.
So
yeah, indeed. What's your what would be your writing process? I mean, do you always need guitar in hand to do this? Do you play a bit of piano too, I think, do you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you always need instruments with you to write, or do you take a lot of notes and kind of put it together at a later time, or is it a bit of both? Or
it's a bit of anything, really. I can remember once I was walking up a set of stairs inside this building, and just the rhythm of walking and grabbing the handrail was such that it lent itself to a song. So I actually wrote a song, and the instrument was the stairway as I was going up the stairs. So I don't need an instrument to to get an idea or to get inspiration, but I do need an instrument to finish it off.
of course, for the melody part of it, I suppose.
No, just to kind of see where it ends. If I don't put it on an instrument, it's not a song yet in my head. I mean, some of them just float around in my head for years, and until I actually put them onto an instrument, and then can sort of hear that last chord ring out.
Yeah, is that kind of when you know it's finished, or do you have like a trick in your own head where you kind of go, right, now I think it's done? Performing it would help, yeah.
Yeah, I do a lot of kind of silly things. I'll have a song in my head that's not finished, and then I'll play it at a gig.
Well, I've done that too. Yeah, I can understand that, because you have to kind of feel if it works, or kind of give birth to it in some sort of form, don't you?
That's right. Which way is this going? And sometimes that's happened, and then I've gone, okay, that's how that song needs to go. And but there's so many different ways of doing it, So, but typically, I guess 70% of the time, I'll be sitting down with the guitar, just practicing, and sometimes I'll make a mistake and go, oh, that's interesting, and then that'll shoot me off that road. But
it has paid off. I mean, from what I read about you and from what I see on your social media. By the way, that's Paul's Facebook page down there, folks. Give him a follow and a like. And from what I've seen, and correct me if I'm wrong, I mean, I would class you as quite a successful songwriter, in the sense that you've landed songs maybe not only with other people, but TV advertisements, that kind of stuff. Is that right?
That's true, yeah.
And is that something you sort of aspired to from an earlier age in a career, or was it just kind of by chance and happenstance? Or you said, no, I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right, I'm going to land stuff.
Yeah, I never, I never thought I was going to be a singer. I thought I was just going to write songs. The first song I ever got published was, I must have been 19 years old, and I got a job writing commercials and stuff for radio.
Wow.
And that's kind of what I thought I would do, is just write songs for other people to sing, because I didn't sing the jingles. I just wrote them. I actually went into the job interview, and the guy interviewing me showed me this ad copy, and he said, "What do you think of this?" And I said, "Well, it's total bullshit, man." He said, "Well, I wrote that." And he said, if you think you can do any better, you got 10 minutes. So he went out, came back, and I had written something. And anyway, it was good enough for him to hire me. So
that's how the job happened.
That's how the job happened. And that's all I thought I would be doing is that. Plus, I wanted to write songs for movies and TV and stuff like that. Because I stopped listening to the radio in the early 80s. I just couldn't stand it anymore. So I turned it off and hadn't really not much clue of what was going on in contemporary music for a very long time. And in the meantime, I was working in journalism and doing odd jobs and, working for the government and lots of weird stuff.
What year did you move to Germany? Was it from Australia directly over to Germany?
Yeah. I didn't move over here until properly until 2009.
Oh, I see.
I was over here for a year in 2003, early 2004. And that's when my then girlfriend and I got married, Tina. She's from Germany. And so I came over, spent a year or 10 months or something in Germany and played maybe 60 gigs, mainly in Irish pubs. Yeah. And my first gig in Germany was opening for Status Quo. And
well, that was not a bad gig to get.
It was eye-opening, because I realized that the place that I felt most comfortable in the world was on stage.
Wow.
Right. And then
that must have been a huge crowd as well. I mean, that wasn't no small gig, yeah?
That was about 5,000 people.
You were literally thrown in at the deep end then.
Yeah.
How did that gig come about? Were you ever signed to a record label, or was that part of something? Or no.
I had only maybe 2 years before that quit journalism at the behest of my girlfriend. She said to me, journalism is gonna just make you sick.
Yeah, it kind of runs course. Wow.
And she knew a lot of sort of successful musicians, and she reckoned that I should give it a try. So I did that, and then about 2 years later, I moved to Germany, and then opened for Status Quo. And the way that came about was my wife's brother had took on sort of management duties for me when I first moved to Germany, because I didn't speak the language, I didn't know what was going on. And he had been to this music seminar or conference or something in Stuttgart, and gave one of my CDs to a guy there, one of the presenters.
Yeah.
And he actually listened to it. Wow. And he was organizing this Status Quo tour. And they already had an opening act, but he got me a spot there, so I played for an hour before the official sort of opening act. Okay. And that's how that came about, yeah.
And was that a whole tour, or was that a kind of a one-off thing?
Just a one-off thing.
A one-off thing, yeah. Wonderful. What a great introduction to the scene.
It was pretty cool, yeah.
Absolutely. Tell us a little bit about the song "The More I Want." This particular version, Paul, has a famous whistle player on there as well.
Yeah, Alan Doherty. He's great
Alan Doherty, indeed.
flute and whistle player from Dublin. We've played a whole bunch of gigs over the past, I guess we've known each other 18, 19 years, something like that.
Wow, is he German based now, or?
He was German based, excuse me, during, I guess, 2011 till 2015, I want to say, somewhere around there. He was based in Halle, near Leipzig. And anyway, we had played first together back in Australia in like 2001, I think. He was down there to record the flute parts for the Lord of the Rings movie
Yes.
in New Zealand. And we sort of hit it off. And so this song, The More I Want, is sort of one of my songs about the financial crisis that we had in 2008. And I think I say a little bit about it at the beginning as well.
Well, let's give it a lash.
If anybody wants to play along, this song is in C sharp minor. What? This song is called The More I Want. Oder auf Deutsch, The More I Want. That's cool. It's a song about the financial crisis and having too much stuff. The more I want, oh, the less I ever get. I got the strangest feeling, it ain't over yet. You must have been one time stuck to the edge of the looking glass. People are crazy, buying into junk and razzmatazz. I used to be a fool for any young thing in a pretty dress. I'm old and wise, and now I realize not a one of them could care less. I used to have a ticket on myself, maybe more than one or two. Now all I got is this jacket full of holes where the winter wind rips through. Now all I got is a jacket full of holes where the winter wind rips through. The more I want, darling, the less I ever get. I got the strangest feeling, it ain't over yet. It ain't over till I say it's over. Got me a house on the east side where the ocean breakers roar. Got me a job selling nothing but air, 'cause there was nothing worth living for. Got me a wife, she gave us a kid, sure enough a chip off the old block. Then the crunch came down, drove us clean out of town on the back of a pickup truck. The crunch came down, drove us clean out of town on the back of a pickup truck. We never knew which way to turn, but just to someplace better than here. Hell, some nights our bellies burn for want of food we couldn't get near. Sold everything I ever did own for a penny on a dollar worth. We sunk so low, how could we ever know they had been robbing us blind from birth? They have been robbing us blind. The more I want, darling, the less I ever get. I got the strangest feeling, it ain't over yet. It ain't over till I say it's over. It ain't over till it's over. We ended up on a patch of ground where the ocean breakers roll, helping folks get back on their feet, tending goats and planting corn. I'm looking for some kind of sacred place where time lays in its grave, a place where no one is bringing you down and you ain't nobody's slave, a place where no one is bringing you down and you ain't nobody's slave, a place where no one is bringing you down and you ain't nobody's slave. The more I want, the less I ever get. I got the strangest feeling, it ain't over yet. I got the strangest feeling, it ain't over yet.
Great stuff.
Thanks.
And the brilliant Anna Doherty there on the whistle as well. I mean, great player.
Yeah.
And we had a comment. Did you see the comment from Mark? Mark Summers come on there. He says it reminds me a bit of Loudon Wainwright III when he sings.
Okay.
He says this and not the pulling of the faces. But that's a nice thing to say, Mark. Thank you. That's a compliment, absolutely. Thanks for tuning in, Mark, and anyone else who's on here live with us. Great to see you all. Very cool. I was going to ask you about, you play a lovely, not only you play guitar and a bit of piano, but you have this lovely lap steel dobro instrument.
Yes.
You have it there handy. Maybe we could have a look at it. I was always kind of fascinated by this beauty.
This thing.
Dusty. Yeah, it's gorgeous. Where did that come from, or where did you first decide to pick up that?
I kind of forget. Somebody gave me. A friend of mine was learning lap slide, and his name is Darren Harris, and he one of my best friends from way back when. He's actually the guy who actually believed in my music way in the beginning. So he was trying to learn how to play a lap slide, and then I sort of took it on, and someone gave me this little triangular shaped lap slide with pickup in it, and I just set to work and then started playing gigs, and then someone gave me another one, and then I converted one of my guitars to a lap. And then I bought this one, and it's another tool.
Yeah, it is absolutely. We'll have a blast of that. You have a song called "Slack of Jaw," which we'll play in a moment, but so we'll hear it then. Just to remind you, folks, Paul's Bandcamp page is there. If you want to buy his music, please do. You know, we all need it, especially right now in these times of crisis. Paul's website, of course, paulfogarty.one. And Facebook is there, we'll get him as well. So follow him along and think about picking up something from Bandcamp. You know, great thing about Bandcamp is even if you have these songs before, you can buy them and send them to a friend who might need them or want them. And I like that about Bandcamp. It's
That's
really
right.
cool. I use it myself. It's really great. Growing up in Ireland, of course, I don't know if you know this, but we're experts in Australia. We grow up in Ireland watching Home and Away and Neighbours. I don't know if you. So
More than
we're all experts.
I didn't watch it myself.
So yeah, that was our thing. So we learned all the phrases like "struth, mate" and "flaming
Yes.
kids." Yeah, all these
Yeah.
kind of stuff. All this kind of stuff. Over the years, then of course, I picked up some other great expressions from Australians that I've met over the years, and I'll call out a few. See if you heard of them before. Maybe you can add to the list. I don't know, but there's a couple of great ones like "I'm as angry as a cut snake." Have you heard that one?
Oh yeah, yeah.
Yeah, that's a typical Australian. I love that. I love that one. What was another one I had was "I'm off like a shot dog."
Haven't heard that one before.
You never heard that one? No. Have you
No.
any there? There's a few ones. There's a few that aren't so clean that maybe I won't mention. But yeah, "I'm off like a frog in a sock" is another good one a friend of mine has.
Okay.
Off like a frog in a sock. Yeah, there's one about a dunny door in a gale, but we won't go into that one.
Okay, I don't know
There's
that
a
one.
few. I don't know if I can think of any clean ones, but there's a couple that just came to mind.
I don't think I can think of any either.
Struth.
Struth. You know, there's a town in Germany called Struth.
Is there?
Yeah, there's a little sign on the beside the Autobahn, and there's a rest stop at the side of the road.
That must have given you a giggle when you passed that.
Absolutely, couldn't stop laughing. For
It's like that old joke.
Days.
Our old joke on the road, of course, is driving around looking for the town of Ausfahrt in Germany.
That's right.
Signs everywhere.
Where is that?
I can't. Where is it? Tell us a little bit about the next song, Paul, Slack of Jaw, which we're going to hear the wonderful Dobro playing lap slide version.
This one has sort of vaguely. I guess it's about growing old. When I started doing music full time, I was already in my late 30s, right? And I just couldn't see myself fitting into any scene, any place. So I just decided to kind of try and own what it was, my particular disease, which was obsessive compulsive songwriting, and try to find an audience in whatever way that I could. And this is really a song about growing old and trying to do it in a graceful way, I guess.
How's that working out for you?
Not at all.
Don't believe you. It's a Slack of Jaw, folks. Lovely lap slide version from the wonderful Paul Fogarty. Give it a listen.
I can't stand to be here. I can't stand to go away. I can't stand the smile in your eye when I was shooting for a sense of dismay. Well, everyone I ever knew is like a stranger with a broken face. We're all headed south, no trace of a doubt. We just started from a different place. We just started from a different place.
Guess you always thought you would live long and stay younger than you came to be. I never cared for such disillusion, but at least it made you seem carefree. But Jesus, I heard, was a savior. He was a healer to the sick and the poor. Well, I never gave a damn if he was a savior, but he made believers from the slack of jaw. He made believers from the slack of jaw. I can't stand to be, I can't stand to go away. I can't stand the smile in your eye when I was shooting for a sense of dismay. Well, everyone that I ever knew was like a stranger with a broken face. Yeah, we're all headed south, no trace of a doubt. We just travel at a different pace. We're all headed south, there ain't no trace of a doubt. We just travel at a different pace. We just travel at a different pace.
Slack of Jaw from Paul Fogarty. That's just another gem. You have so many gems.
Thanks, man.
So many gems, and tell you one thing. I'm glad that you decided to do some singing as well as songwriting, because your voice gets me. It does. It just first time I heard you was like, oh my God, who is this guy? Yeah,
Wow,
it does.
that's cool.
You have a great voice.
Thanks, man.
I'm sure you've heard that a million times, but yeah, I mean it's.
But never believed it.
Never believed it, no. Believe it now. Now on Raving with Rua, you've heard it here. What I say here is gospel.
You know, I never thought of myself as a singer until some dudes in the States who should know better started telling me that was a talent that I had there. So I honestly never thought about it until about maybe 3.5 years ago. Yeah. And so now I'm just obsessed. I'm in the studio every day going, how can I sound like that one day and like that another? It's just bizarre.
It's bizarre, isn't it? Yeah.
Really. Yeah.
But you do it. Freddie is in as well. Freddie Phelps has beautiful song, amazing voice. Absolutely, Freddie. Thank you, sir. Much
Thanks,
appreciate that. Thanks for tuning in. You do a lot of recording yourself as well. You have a great little home studio setup. We're probably in your home studio setup, are we?
I am the home studio setup. It's the most basic studio I think in the world.
But
I think there's a guy in Alice Springs who has 2 paper cups and a piece of string, but mine is like almost as basic. It's pretty simple.
But you get an amazing quality. I mean, anything I've heard you do at home, I'm very impressed with. Harm Landman is a great supporter. Hello, Harm from the Netherlands. Great to see you. Thanks for tuning in. He wants to know: do you sell CDs or just download? So, I do
sell CDs, and they happen to be lying on my desk. Actually,
voila.
This is the last one that I released as a hard copy, Winds of Fortune, and that's for sale.
I guess if you shoot him a mail through,
just contact me, and I'll send it to you.
Maybe through the Facebook or through the website. Okay, great.
Yeah.
Harman's a great supporter of music. He watches these shows and buys a lot of CDs.
Good on you, Harm.
See here, so good on you, Harm. Fair play to you, indeed.
Excellent.
Absolutely. You're on the road a long time and a very professional man. Did you ever walk out of a gig?
It's funny. It's weird that I have to think about that, isn't it? That's kind of weird. I don't think I've ever walked out of a gig. I don't think so.
Not your style. I was just wondering. So if it ever went wrong. I mean, sometimes these things can go wrong on the road, and you just kind of say, "Look, I've had it. And
Well, here's
leave it
the
at that.
thing. Here's the thing, man. I've fairly often, especially in the sort of earlier days, would be playing to really, basically empty rooms, and
Yeah.
and the people running the show would come over and apologize and say, listen, we don't know if anyone's going to show up. And I'd be like, that's okay. I need to practice, and I love to hear what I'm going to do because I don't even know what I'm going to do. And that's what happens when a gig starts to go sour. I really focus in on myself, and like if the crowd is too noisy. This hasn't happened for several years now, but if a crowd is too noisy, what I would do is turn the speakers just towards me.
Yeah.
And have this bubble of me making mistakes and doing things I normally wouldn't do. And then that helps, my show sort of later on, because I try to turn every sort of disadvantage into something I can use, for the future. So
Yeah, that's the professional way to do it, of course. I mean, of course, you're not talking about Irish bar gigs, which are generally horrible anyway. You're talking about listening rooms that can sometimes turn into non-listening rooms, I guess. Because you do a lot of listening rooms, yeah.
I do. I think I really do listening rooms. I mean, all the Irish pubs I've done in Germany have all been great. You just, I see it as my job to make it a concert,
Right.
And if
even if they're not so into singer-songwriters, you try to, turn them.
If they're not,
yeah.
If they, I go, fuck you. You can, you can listen to you can listen to what I'm going to do, or what I used to do in Australia to sort people out is because the gigs are a lot longer there, right? Normally you would play normally you would play a gig at an Irish pub or a bar or something for 3 or 4 hours. And what I would do is I would play a marathon first set of maybe 2 hours.
Wow.
And that I just saw that as my sacrifice. I would sacrifice those 2 hours to sort people out. Then I would take a break. And when I came back, it was a listening room usually, right?
Right.
That's kind of the way that I did that.
Well, you're lucky that it worked out that way, especially in bars, because you can be very unlucky. I found anyway. To me, the two don't really go hand in hand, and I sort of had to distance myself a little bit from the pub thing.
Yeah.
That was my way of handling it. Just kind of get away from it. Try to find a road where you're playing to listening people, because we need to sell CDs. We need to get the songs out there. But of course
that is the sensible thing to do. Man.
But of course, with that, then you take a cut on the money. I mean, a lot of it is financially based on finances too, and you can't always turn down work.
You can't always turn down work. No, that's true. What I try to do is put myself over the budget of places that I maybe am thinking I shouldn't go and play. So, and usually if you do that, I mean, we can talk figures. There's normally at an Irish pub, in my experience anyway, you might make 200 to 300 euro for a solo artist, and
that's about right.
If I start asking 400 and 500, then the places that aren't serious about the whole thing, they just won't have you come play, and the places that are, they'll think very seriously about investing in you to come play. And then because they've invested that extra money, then they treat the whole thing with much more sort of respect. And that's a very fine line you got to walk, though. Sometimes it can sort of blow up in your face. But
I was going to say that, yeah, it is. You have to be quite lucky with that. But of course, you would have built up, like a lot of us do. We start off playing in bars and in cafes where you need lots of cover versions. Keep them singing, keep them drinking. That's the kind of the pub attitude, right? But it does stand to you later on, because as you said, if a gig goes a bit sour or noisy, you can fall back on those covers and you can bring them back on your side.
this is where my approach is. My approach is kind of opposite to what you might expect, because I never usually played covers.
Oh, even in the Paris.
Yeah.
Wow.
If I would play a cover, it would be this take on a cover. I might do an AC/DC song in bluegrass style, right. or turn a status quo song into a waltz or something like that.
I see, but yeah, and that kind of worked, of course.
It works, but you have to be a certain personality type, which I kind of am. I realize that people, if I'm going to build a career, people have to want to listen to me do my thing.
Yeah, it is.
And so I know that a lot of venues won't ask me back because I hadn't done enough covers. So that certainly happened 10 years ago, where I'd go to a gig and play and people would be requesting stuff and I would just pretend not to understand them. Like they might say, play Copperhead Road, and I'd go, I don't even speak English. What are you talking about? And just take the piss. take the piss, and I think because of my confrontational career in journalism, that wasn't such a big deal for me, But for a lot of people,
you were able to handle it. Yeah,
it's intimidating. Yeah,
indeed. But I want to play one of your great covers. Speaking of covers, because you do an amazing version of this little Dylan number called "The Times They Are Changing." Right. And what you love the song. Was there a reason behind recording this or putting it up here just for the times we live in, maybe?
Well, these guys that I mentioned in the States, particularly in Nashville and in New York, they were interested in my takes on cover songs and asked me if I would record some. And so I've been recording them now for probably about 3 years, and just it's up to me to choose which ones and whichever way I do them. Like I think I do Bad Moon Rising just on the ukulele, and lots of different things. And so this Bob Dylan song was just a song that came up, and I kind of liked the way that my voice sounded while I was doing it, and so that's why I thought I'd record it and make a video of it.
Yeah, I love it. You do a very unique version of it. Here it is, folks. Great cover. The Times They Are Changing by the great Paul Fogarty. I know you're going to like this a lot.
Come gather round, people, wherever you roam, and admit that the waters around you have grown, and accept it that soon you'll be drenched to the bone. If your time to you is worth saving, you better start swimming or you'll sink like a stone. For the times, they are a-changing. Come writers and critics who prophesize with your pen. Keep your eyes wide, the chance won't come again. Don't speak too soon, for the wheel's still in spin. There's no telling who that it's naming. The loser now will be later to win, for the times they are a-changing. Come mothers and fathers throughout the land, don't criticize what you can't understand. Your sons and your daughters are beyond your command. Your old road is rapidly aging,
Please get out of the new one if you can't lend a hand for the time. They are changing. Come senators and congressmen, please heed the call. Don't stand in the doorway, don't block up the halls. For he that gets hurt will be he who has stalled. There's a battle outside and it's raging. It'll soon shake your windows and rattle your walls for the time. They are a-changing. The line it is drawn, the curse it is cast. The slow one now will later be fast, as the present now will later be past. The order is rapidly fading. The first one now will later be last, for the times they are changing. For the times they are changing. For the times they are changing.
Ah, beautiful. What a version.
Who is that guy?
He is that guy, man. Look at him posing with his big guitar up and the, yeah. Couldn't do that in Australia. You couldn't be posing like that. You'd be excommunicated, mate.
Yeah, right. Exactly.
Yeah, you hear so many versions of that song, and it's just, yeah, it's just fantastic. There's a lovely message there from John as well, John Tomasi. Good to see you. Nice surprise. Great to see you, John. Thanks for tuning in.
Hey, John. Good to see you, man.
Great to see you, man. Indeed. But yeah, the times they are changing. I wonder are they changing? I suppose they are. Maybe, I don't know, are they changing for the better or changing for the worst, Paul? You, when you
I think it's
on that, what's going on?
I think it's always changing for the better, man. It's you just don't see it at the time. It's it just takes its time, and you know, everything moves so slow. If we could live for 500 years, we would see that. But I think it's you know, all these charlatans and fakes and liars and thieves. You know, you can only do that. It's a pretty short career if you go down that path, because people figure you out. You know, and that's the problem that we have at the moment, is that you know, there's a lot of people leading who just have no clue
Yeah.
how to make things better for everyone. You know.
That's very true, and that'll bring us in a few moments to your last and latest song that we're going to play. But which you want to probably knowing you probably wrote it 20 minutes ago, and it took you probably 12 and a half seconds to write, and it's a great song about Mr. P, resident.
Yes.
Over there. Well, we'll talk about that in a second. You know, your career in journalism, I know it must be a huge frustration for you. We were talking about watching those reporters trying to question Trump recently at a press conference, and you know, of course, he turns it into some kind of a charade. But that's very infuriating for people who, like yourself, who have a background in investigative journalism. You want to say a little bit about that, or?
Yeah, I mean, you know, all the press briefings where, you know, journalists. I think in a journalistic career, it's kind of a highlight if you can get to be at one of those. press briefings with the President of the United States. And so they want to keep going back, all of those journalists. But there are a lot of journalists who really don't know how to stand their ground and how to be assertively objective. In other words, one of the things I find about American journalists in particular is that they're overall just way too polite.
Yeah.
Right. And I mean, Australian journalists can be too polite, but I remember press conferences at which I was a journalist, and most of the questions, 95% of the questions, would be sort of softball or medium ball questions. And the people holding the press conference, they know how to deal with that shit.
Yeah.
But what they don't know how to deal with is when you can see through the charade, right? Mm-hmm. And it was always to know more about the subject than the person who was talking. So it means, a lot of research, and it means a lot of digging up your, informants or your contacts and putting together a narrative that is true, but doesn't gel with what you're expecting the people holding the press conference are going to say. And so then you use your knowledge to sort of trip them up when they say a mistruth or try to guide you away from something they don't want you to delve into. Then you sort of use that to sort of sew up this inescapable situation for them, in which you have them and everyone can see that you have them, and they feel exposed. They're exposed. They have this dread that you might actually know more than they want you to know. And once you have them there, what usually happens is the press conference shuts down very quickly.
Yeah, and that's quite evident when you watch anything that Trump is doing over there as well. He's like, no, don't question me, my authority. Don't question my. As soon as he
does that,
he puts the hands up. He does.
There's a whole. Please don't interrupt my wall of horse manure that I've erected in front of you.
Yeah,
and then if a journalist would just say, as that woman said the other day, sort of intimated the other day, let's say, Mr. President, what did you do during that whole month? It seems like you didn't do anything at all, right? In other words,
we did lots.
In other words,
I don't know what we did.
In other words, you may think we don't see that wall of manure, but we see it, and it stinks.
It stinks, man.
One of the questions that I wish a journalist would ask, and this is a very general approach, is to say to the president, excuse me, Mr. President, it's Paul Fogarty from CBS. Listen, you've lied 20,000 times in your time in office. I just want to know, is there some kind of code? Like, how can we know when you're lying and when you're not lying? Is there is there a wink you could give us, something like that? And then when he gives his answer, you then say, "Now, is that a lie?"
Did you twitch your ear? You didn't touch your nose there when you said that. Is that? Yeah. We need a sign, a signal.
Because then the whole facade just falls apart, and everyone sees him. He's naked,
Yeah, he is. It's
behind
completely.
This wall of manure.
I love it. Wall of manure.
You'd never be invited back, but you'd have to sort of tag team with other journalists.
It'd be fabulous. Just so somebody could get those lines in, just quickly, and then be thrown out. I kind of go, don't question me. Put the no, I'm no expert, but he'd say, we did lots. We put the hands up and we go, no. How dare you? How dare
what
you?
Exactly?
What exactly?
Who said that? Where? When?
And that's exactly what this next song's about. We're gonna finish off with this song, Paul, and you wrote it partly to do what we're just talking about there. Yeah. Anything else to add to this song? It's called Mr. P. Resident. Where did the title come from?
Well, the P tapes. It doesn't feel good calling him the president because he's just not one. But P. Resident, that makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, it certainly does. So, You literally just put this up online a couple of days ago or 1 day ago, but it's
One day ago,
it's already making waves. You said the CIA were onto you. Were they? Did they come crashing through your window yet? Or
It was the Department of Homeland Security.
oh, the Homeland Security wasn't CIA.
Because I had tweeted the song to his Twitter account.
Love it. So this could be the last time we see you, basically.
See ya.
Okay.
It's been good.
Say la vie. Nice knowing you. We'll play the song and then we'll come back
Get
and
out of
chat
here.
with you. Get out of here. Here is Mr. P. Resident from the wonderful Paul Fogarty, folks. Brand new song.
15 dead and old Uncle Sam dropped by a seasonal flu. That's what the P resident has said. Ain't a sane soul believe it's true. 45 dead and old Uncle Sam, so said the White House folks. It's almost gone, said the P resident. He laughed and called it a hoax. 87 dead in the New Republic, almost double since Monday morning. We'll go out to church, the P resident said. Ignore the science and the scorn. 407 died a terrible death. Seems this hoax ain't what it once was. It'll fry your lungs, fill them with concrete. Still there ain't no cause for a fuss, Mr. P resident. That's blood you got there on your head. Mr. P resident, you ain't fit for what your job demands. 300 lie dead on the streets in tents, and their loved ones they could not rent. Contagion been raging across every single nation while P resident works on his swings. He blamed it all on the bleeding hearts, blamed the Chinese, the WHO. Sat on his hands, played to the fans while the virus played him like a joke. Mr. P resident, that's blood you got there on your hands. Mr. P resident, you ain't fit for what your job demands. Mr. P resident, that's blood you got there on your hands. Mr. P resident, yeah, that's blood on your hands.
We should do it. And when I did it,
But what did you do with the time that you bought?
you know we did?
3,000 lie buried in big upper graves, all died in agonizing fits. Would have been a lot less if the PP tape prayers weren't such a goddamn narcissist. 10,000 of the dead, their moms and pops dead. Many voted for the POTUS in charge. Now we feast on their faces from highfalutin places. Gets hard on every crowd that is large. 20,000 souls lost to the fool who stole every last thing he ever got. Sisters and daughters he led to the slaughter. Sons and brothers he left out to rock. Mr. P resident, that's blood there on your hand. Mr. P resident, you ain't fit for what your job demands. Mr. P resident, that's blood there on your head. Mr. P resident, you ain't fit for what your job demands. There's blood there on your head.
It's so disgraceful. It's so disgraceful the way you said it. Let me just, listen, I just went over it.
To make people
I just went over
in
it.
an unprecedented crisis.
Nobody thought we should do it. And when I
Nobody
did
can
it-
see.
I just
I'm
went over it,
Time
Paul.
that you bought.
sure.
No, I just don't want to know. I just went over it. I don't want to hear it. I'm right.
Yeah.
Everyone else is wrong.
Exactly.
Paul, you're going to end up in Guantanamo Bay for that song, and
Yeah.
but it'll be so worth it.
It'll be worth it, you know.
It'd be so worth it. That was, it's absolutely one of your best, stunner, and
Thanks,
great that you wrote it. And I hope the world gets to hear it. Thank you so much for spending this hour plus with us here today.
Thanks
Much
for having me, man.
appreciate you being here. You're very welcome. Keep up the great work, and
You
mind
too.
yourself in this old lockdown. You're doing great work. Keep it up, and we'll see you. We'll see each other down the road when the dust settles.
Yeah. Okay. Take it easy, man. Cheers.
Thanks a million, Paul. All the best.
Appreciate it. Thanks, everybody. Ciao.
Brilliant. The brilliant Paul Fogarty, folks. Thank you all so much for spending this time with us. And for being here of the last hour, Raving with Rua is the live stream. The channel is Songs from the Rua Room, and that is theruaroom.com. paulfogarty.one will give you all of Paul's links and information. And thanks once again, and I'll see you very soon on the next Raving with Rua. Bye bye.